Hey guys, Telegram Sam here. If you don't already know, I have an Instagram. It's Telegram _Sam _vinyl. So if you're on there, check me out. Speaking of Instagram, I had a lovely viewer by the name of Craig reach out to me on there. He said he was downsizing his collection and he had some stuff that he thought I might like. And so I was like, hell yeah, send it to me. Thinking again that he was going to send me like a couple records. He sent me a box. A box of records. So yeah, I have a lot to show you guys, not only from Craig, but stuff I bought myself and some other VCLT. So sorry this video won't be so in-depth, or else it would be a 3-hour long video. So I'm going to kind of start rattling off stuff. So first, let's get to the 7 inches Craig sent me. I can't believe I have a copy of this. I think I recently just saw Dave from Local Bandography. I think he recently got one of these. But this is a Postphonic Star Exploration by Manor Astroman. This is original 1995 US press, and Manor Astroman are a great like surf, space rock, punk band. And this is a 5-inch record. I believe this was limited to 2,000 copies, but yeah, this is so cool. I've heard about these, but I've never actually seen one in person. And Manor Astroman are kind of known for putting out cool singles, so it's really cool to have one of these. Next up, we have Another Way by the Mono Men. This is the original 1996 US press. Great garage rock punk. Craig sent me mostly like surf rock punk from the 80s and 90s, so that's what a lot of this is, which is so cool because I need more of that in my collection. Next up, we have Carbon 14 Wrestling Federation presents A Night of Champions, and this is a comp. I believe this was something that they include in the Carbon 14 magazine. I think this is from the number 20 issue. I liked the first couple songs on the first side. It's kind of more like oi pub rock on the first side, which isn't like my favorite like subgenre of punk, but the second side is killer. It's like Cramps style garage psychobilly punk, especially the song Monkey Glands by the Coyote Men. Like that literally sounds like a Lost Cramps song. Even the singer kind of sounds like Lux Interior a little bit, and the Goblins too. I like the song they did, but really cool. I definitely judged this by the cover and I was like, oh, this looks a little sketchy, but it's a really great one, and it folds out into this gory wrestling picture. Next up, Strong Come On by the Oblivions. This is 1996 US press garage rock, punk lo-fi. Haven't listened to this one yet, but looks really cool. It's on Crypt Records, and anything Crypt Records puts out is killer, so that's exciting to have. Next up, we got Asphalt Isle, Deke Dickerson and his guitar. This is a 1995 US press, great garage rock. Yeah, the songs on this are really, really short. They're barely less than a minute, which kind of sucks because he's like jamming on guitar and you want to like go on for longer, but this is a cool little introduction to this artist didn't know about. Next up is Spoil Me by the Winks. This is a 2003 US press garage rock punk. Haven't got a chance to listen to this one either, but I see all girls and that's so cool. I'm looking forward to listening to this. Next up is Big Damn Roach by the Immortal Lee County Killers, 2000 US press. This is described as blues rock garage punk. I agree with that. I listened to this and I really, really dig this. Next up, we got Blackout by Carbonas. This is a 2005 US press, great punk rock. This is on Shattered Records, which was a J Retards label, so this is a cool thing to have. Next up, we got Can't Stop by the Vendettas. This is original 1997 US press, great rock garage punk band. And this I was so excited about. This is You Must Fight to Live on the Planet of the Apes by the Mummies. This is a 1993 U.S. press. If you don't know the Mummies, they're a very, very influential garage punk surf band. This has a cover of I'm Down by the Beatles on it. I just love the Mummies. They're so great. Very excited to have one of their original singles in the collection. Again, another one I was so stoked to have. This is I Need a Man by the 5678s. Great garage rock rockabilly, original 1993 U.S. press. They do a B-side cover of Long Tall Sally. But if you don't know who the 5678s are, you probably do know who they are. They were featured in Kill Bill, and they do the woo hoo hoo song. But yeah, before that, they did really, really killer garage punk surf stuff, and so excited to finally have something from them. Next up, we got Jackie and the Cedrics. This is Go Honda Go, backed with Velocity Stacks. Original 1994 U.S. press. Again, another great rock surf 7-inch. And another favorite, this is The Space Legend by Mad 3, 1995 U.S. press. Great garage rock. I think this one's on red vinyl? Yes, it's on translucent red. Love Mad 3. Last up for the 7 inches from Craig is The Monarchs. This is Heads Up, 1995 U.S. press, garage rock, punk. And this one is on translucent red as well. Next up, he sent me some 10 inches. And I don't really have that many 10 inches in my collection. I just have an Iggy Pop, James Williamson one, and then I have the Queens of the Stone Age Era Vulgaris on the 3 10 inches. So I'm excited to have more 10s in the collection. Another great Mad 3 album, Napalm in the Morning. This is original 1997 US press. Great garage rock. You guys know the drill with Mad 3. I think I saw Cosmic Brian show this in one of his videos a long, long time ago. And I agree with him. Fuzz Engine on this one is a killer song. I believe that was one of the ones that he highlighted. And we do a cover of Baby Please Don't Go. I got my mojo working as well. Love them. Such a great band. And I cannot believe he sent me this. This is so freaking cool. And I've been dying to have anything from the Reverend Horton Heat. This is his 10-inch of Smoke 'Em If You Got 'Em. An original 1990 U.S. press on Sub Pop. If you don't know the Reverend Horton Heat, great rockabilly, psychobilly. Actually knew who he was before I knew of like the Cramps. He was the artist that kind of introduced me to that whole psychobilly, rockabilly thing. Love his stuff so much. And this one came on a really cool, like marbled, grayish blue 10-inch. This great label. So excited to have that. And then next up we got Savage by Teen Generate. 1994 US press, punk, garage rock. Haven't listened to this yet, but just by the cover it looks really dope. So excited to listen to that. Next up, all the records he sent me. This is Guy record by the Ripoffs, 1994 U.S. press, described as punk, garage rock. I'm not familiar with them, so I'm excited to listen to this and see what it's about. Next up, we got the Belfast Gigs by the Horselips. This is a 1980 U.S. press, and this is also a promo. This is described as rock/folk rock. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to this one yet, but they do a cover of Shakin' All Over, which I love that song. I think it was originally, or the version I know is the one that Johnny Kidd and the Pirates did. I don't know if they were the ones that originally did that song, but I love that song. Next up, another band I'm not familiar with. This is Clear Black Paper by The Fluid, original 1988 U.S. press, alt-rock garage rock band. Also original Sub Pop band. And this one came on this really pretty like marbled swirly purple whites to kind of go with the cover. Haven't gotten a chance to listen to this one yet, but if you're familiar with it, let me know your thoughts and feelings on it. This I was so stoked about. This is 18 Deadly Ones by the Phantom Surfers, and this cover looks quite familiar. If I can find it. Ah, here it is. Looks quite familiar. This is the You Know Who group. This is just a random thing I found. I was like, huh. Interesting. But yeah, I love the Phantom Surfers. They're kind of like the Mummies, just a very influential band in like the 80s, 90s garage surf rock revival that was happening during that time. But yeah, 1991 original US press rock surf. I haven't gotten a chance to listen to this yet, but I know I'm gonna love it. I love the Phantom Surfers, so excited to have that. Oh, this is a really cool one. This is a Box Bottom, Alex Chilton solo album. Alex Chilton was part of the band Big Star, and this I think was his first solo album. This originally came out in 1980, but this is a 1987 German press. This is described as rock garage. Haven't gotten a chance to listen to this either. He literally sent me so much records, it's been hard to like work through all of them. And this one came on the cool white vinyl that a lot of these German presses were known to come on. I have a Dwayne Eddy and the Rebels album that has this exact same thing going on. I think I want to start collecting these cool white German pressings of albums, but yeah, this is a really cool edition. And plus I don't have any of like the Big Star solo albums. So speaking of Big Star, we got Big Star's third, Sister Lovers, by Big Star, obviously. This originally came out in 1978, and this is a 1985 US press. Great rock, power pop band, if you're not familiar with them. The only other album I have from them is their number one record, which was their first album. Probably my favorite. I haven't listened to much of Big Star outside of that album, so I'm excited to dive into this one. Oh, next up, our early classic artist. This is Jack the Ripper by Link Wray. This originally came out in 1963, and this is a 1990 UK press. If you don't know who Link Wray is, very influential surf rock, early rock, garage artist. His song Rumble is probably one of the best guitar songs ever. And Rumble was originally on the original 1963 Jack the Ripper album, but for some reason this UK press doesn't have it, which I'm really bummed about. But I would love to get the 7-inch of Rumble eventually, but I'm just excited to have anything by Link Wray. This is really cool too. This is the self-titled album by the Zombies. This is an original 1965 US press in mono. Zombies, great pop, rock, mod. I know a lot of people in the VC really love their other album, Odyssey and the Oracle, but I'm going to say a very brave and controversial statement. I kind of like this album more than Odyssey and the Oracle. I don't know, I just think this one, it just stuck with me longer after listening to it. I feel like once I listened to Odyssey and the Oracle, I kind of forgot most of the songs besides Time of the Season. I don't know, I just like this one more. I feel like this is one I'm going to be reaching for more than Odyssey of the Oracle. But both albums are fantastic. It's just my opinion, my preference, but loved this. Next up, we got Some Kind of Fun, the Untamed Youth. Haven't listened to this one yet. I'm not familiar with this band. 1989 US press, great rock surf garage. At least that's what it says on Discogs. Excited to dive into this. Another band I've been meaning to get into. This is The Ideal Copy by Wire. 1987 US press, described as electronic rock, new wave. I see them all the time on the VC and keep on meaning to listen to them, so now I have no excuse to not listen to them anymore. So I'm excited to dive into this. And next up we got I Am a One-Man Band by Johnny Lobo. I'm not sure when this came out. I couldn't find a year, but I'm assuming it's a recent release. But I believe this is a friend of Craig's down in Memphis, Tennessee, and Craig described this as like blues rock, country, so I'm excited to listen to that. Next up, again, another band I've been meaning to get into because I hear about them so much because they were a Portland band, but this is 13 Off My Hook by Dead Moon, and this is a great comp of theirs, original 1990 US press, garage rock. Again, they were a great Portland band that I believe formed in the late 80s, and I think they were performing until like the mid 2000s. But yeah, I listened to this and I love this. I definitely get what all the local hype is about them. Yeah, I really need to get more of their albums though. Next up, we got this awesome album, Everybody Likes Some Kind of Music by Billy Preston. And this really does have a little bit of everything on it. Gospel, soul, funk, blues, jazz, rock. I mean, it definitely lives up to the name. And this is an original 1973 US press. Super glad to finally have something from Billy Preston. Next up, we got Ryman Reason, Missing Persons. This is original 1984 US press. Missing Persons are a great new wave synth pop rock bands. Vic just sent me 2 of their albums not that long ago, so it's nice to have another addition to Missing Persons collection. Next up, a shocker, a very big punk band that I just didn't have in my collection for some weird reason. Road to Ruin, the Ramones, original 1978 US press, great rock, punk, pop. Yeah, I don't know why I don't have any of the Ramones in my collection, considering I'm such a big punk fan, but now I have something, and I love this album. This has one of my favorite Ramones songs, I Just Want to Have Something to Do. I love that song. I remember when I watched Rock and Roll High School at a very young age, just loving that song. But yeah, it also has Needles and Pins, I Want to Be Sedated, Bad Brain, She's the One. Love this Ramones album. Next, another band. This is probably the band that has been recommended to me the most since I started posting videos on YouTube, but this is Down by the Jesus Lizard. This is original 1994 US press, and I describe them as great alt-rock, punk. Yeah, they always get recommended to me, and I've been meaning to listen to them, and I know this album is cited as one of their best albums, so I was very excited when I saw this in the box, and I listened to it, and I loved it. It's definitely everything everyone was telling me it was. Like, it has like that alt-rock punk thing, but it kind of wants to be hardcore, but it's a little bit more catchy. Like, it kind of reminds me of like Bleach by Nirvana, where it was trying to be hardcore punk, but it had some like pop influences to it that kind of kept down the cusp a little bit. But I really love this, and I heard they put on some crazy shows in the day, so I'm really excited to finally have something by them. Next up, a classic. This is Let It Bleed, Rolling Stones. I actually don't have any albums from the 60s from the Rolling Stones. 1971 to like 1981 seems to be my favorite era of the Rolling Stones, but I do love this album. I always call this the Martin Scorsese album because like every movie he's done, he at least features one song from this album. And so yeah, very excited to have this. This is the original 1969 US press. This was kind of when they were getting into like the blues rock, hard rock thing. You can definitely hear like where they would end up going with Exile on Main Street. And this copy actually had the original poster in it, which I already hung up over in my hallway. I know some people think that's sacrilegious, but it's free decoration. I'm going to put it up and make my apartment cool. So very excited to finally have some more Rolling Stones in the collection. Another great grail that I've been dying to get. This is Destroy All Astroman by Manor Astroman. Great original 1994 US press. Surf, garage rock, sci-fi, indie. I just love their sound. It's just so unique, and like it's just, they're a band that's hard to explain because they have just such a unique sound that unless you've heard them before, you kind of get what I'm talking about. But this is one of the few whole studio albums they did. They mainly only really released their stuff on singles. So I'm really excited to have an original press of these. These go for a bit of money, so I know Craig said he didn't want to deal with trying to sell this, but I'm like, dude, you could have gotten some coin for this, but I will cherish this forever. And it's just in such beautiful condition. I'm so excited to have this. Next up, we got Out to Hunch by Hazel Adkins. This is an original 1986 US press, and this is described as rockabilly. Haven't got a chance to listen to this, but it looks really cool. I love that there's like a little thing on the back that says technical notes, sound quality on some tracks may vary with intoxication levels. So I'm like, this has to be cool, you know. Next, we got Joe Tex Spills the Beans by Joe Tex. This is original 1972 US press. I love Joe Tex. He is a great mix of soul and funk. I just love his voice. Love to have one of his albums in the collection finally. Next up, another grail that Craig crossed off the list for me. This is Chris Isaak's self-titled debut album, original 1987 US press. For those of you who aren't familiar with Chris Isaak, he does like great blues, rock, rockabilly, but it's very modern, or at least was modern in the 80s, early 90s. I have his album, Heart-Shaped World. That one's a little bit more hard to find than this. This you can find for like $30-$40. That one is a very expensive record, but I have never seen this in a while, so it's really cool to finally have this. Next up, 12-inch single, the singer Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds. This is original 1986 US press, and for those of you who aren't familiar, Nick Cave and the Bad Seeds kind of have like an alt-rock sort of sound, but on this album they do a cover of The Singer, which I believe is a Johnny Cash song, Running Scared, I think that's a Roy Orbison song, and Black Betty, which I think Lead Belly originally did, so cool to have some more Nick Cave in the collection. I only have one other Nick Cave album, so I'm excited to get into his 80s stuff. Next up, in addition to my Cramps collection, I collect anything and everything Cramps related, so it's really cool to have this. This is the 12-inch single of All Women Are Bad. This is an original 1990 UK press. For those of you who aren't familiar with the Cramps, they are a great rock, psychobilly, punk band. You have this great picture of Lux and Nick Nux in drag here. That's Lux, that's Nick. And they do, obviously, All Women Are Bad, which Poison Ivy produced. And then the B-side is 3 demo songs of songs that they were sending to John Waters to have in his movie Cry Baby, which I don't think ended up being on the soundtrack for that movie. But yeah, this is just really cool. I love everything Cramps and Cramps related, so excited to add that to the collection. Next up, we got Different Drum by Linda Ronstadt. This is original 1974 US press. Linda Ronstadt is one of the greatest female vocalists ever. She mainly did like a lot of folk, country, rock, especially in her early 70s stuff. But she does Different Drum by Mike Nesmith, Rock Me on the Wire, which was a Jackson Browne song, I'll Be Your Baby Tonight, Bob Dylan. She does a few of the songs, or this has a few of her songs that she did with her band, the Stone Ponies. So I'm excited to add that to the collection. Next up, I believe Craig said this is one of his favorite bands of all time, but this is the self-titled album by Flat Duo Jets, 1989 US press, rock, psychobilly. I wasn't familiar with this band before he sent this to me, and of course I was quite intrigued that he said this was his all-time favorite band, considering the amazing stuff he sent me. And I listened to this, and I definitely agree with the points he made. Very Cramps, but you know, they just have their own sort of spin on it. Really dig this, and thank you to Craig for introducing me to them. Next up, we got this amazing record that I've always heard of and I've always wanted. This is Spend the Night with the Trash Women. This is original 1994 US press. Great surf, garage rock, mainly instrumental, but there are a few songs that have some vocals in it, but I definitely prefer the instrumental stuff. Just killer surf music if you're into this or into that genre. So definitely check them out if you're not familiar with them. Next up, we got Kung Fu Ramon by Guitar Wolf. This is original 1994 US press, and this is described as punk, garage rock. Haven't gotten a chance to listen to this one yet, but it looks really dope. Oh my god, and this kind of got me choked up a little bit when I saw this in the box, because I just never thought I would own one of these. This is Play Their Own Records by the Mummies. Yeah, I can't believe I'm holding this in my hands. This is original 1992 US press, great garage rock punk on here. This is a comp of their singles. These aren't that expensive. I think you can find a medium price. I think it's $30-$40, but you just never see these in the wild. I've never seen the Mummies, even their 7-inch singles in the wild before, so I just cannot believe this was in the box. I'm just blown away, and I love the Mummies so much. And if you don't know who they are, just look them up. They will blow your mind if you're into sort of the 80s garage, 60s revival, punk, rockabilly, psychobilly. They're just all of that and just so much more at the same time. Just killer. If you don't know them, check them out. Next, last of the load I got from Craig. This is Animalism by the Animals. You guys know how much I love the Animals. I think Eric Burdon is one of the greatest singers of all time. This is probably one of my favorite Animals records, and this is a really beautiful edition, original 1966 mono press. And this is definitely them kind of leaning into the more blues rock side. They do covers of All Night Long, Shake, Rock Me Baby, Lucille, Smokestack Lightning. I really dig their cover of Smokestack Lightning. Hit the Road Jack, Louisiana Blues, Going Down Slow. This is a sexy record. Love this record. Again, Craig knows how much that box meant to me. Sent me some grails, really crossed 5 or 6 grails off of my list that I've never thought I would have or own. And just thank you so much, Craig, for that very, very generous box. Next up, we have another VCLT thing that was sent to me. This was sent to me from Ilya. I believe it's Lya. Sorry, I definitely fucked up your name. But in my last recent Vinyl Finds video, I showed Scorching Beauty by Iron Butterfly, which was a later 70s album from them. I was like, oh my god, I'm dying to get Inagata Devia, because that's their greatest album, obviously, and that song is just amazing. And they messaged me on Instagram being like, hey, I have an extra of the MoFi release that they just did that album. I would love to send it to you. I was like, oh my god, yes. So cool, because I don't even have any MoFi albums in my collection yet. So, this is the copy they sent me. Thank you so much, Ilya. I'm sorry. I definitely fucked up your name. But thank you so much. I really appreciate this. And the amazing letter you wrote me. That was so sweet. And they're a fellow Portlander, too, and they love Tomorrow Records. I'm just like, yay. But yeah, thank you so much. This originally came out in 1968. This was the MoFi edition they did in 2020. And I'm definitely not the first person to say this, but this sounds incredible. I had to crank this up, especially for the B-side, which is just Inagata Devia. I was like, sorry neighbors, but you're listening to Inagata Devia with me. But this is a killer psych rock, hard rock album. I think this was limited to 3,000 copies, and man, just the sound quality on this, surprisingly amazing. Who would have thought? But I'm so excited to finally have a MoFi in my collection. It's like I always want to get MoFis, but then every time I find out about a title I really want, it's sold out like that. And then when you go on Discogs, it's 10 times what it was selling for, and I'm just like, I just don't want to play that game. So thank you again for this. This is really awesome to have. Okay, the stuff I bought. Let's start off with the 7 inches. Got hip hop classic here. This is Louie Louie / All Day Lover by the Fat Boys. Fat Boys are a great like hip hop, pop, rap group. Very influential early rap group. This is original 1988 U.S. press. Yeah, just love the Fat Boys. They're just classic. Next up, I've been meaning to get some stuff from this band because I've been following them for years, especially on Instagram. Billy by Surfboard. I know Michael Pilmer loves Surfboard. I think he even did some stuff with them recently. But I've been following them for like the last 4 or 5 years on Instagram, and I don't know why I haven't had anything by them yet. This is the original 2019 US press. They are a great punk rock band. If you like a Mill and the Sniffers, them and Surfboard are really good friends. And I think they were supposed to go on a tour together in 2020, and obviously that didn't end up happening. But yeah, I really, really love them. Side 1 has Awake and Flowers of Hate, and then Side 2 has Billy and 45, and I love the song 45. It's about like Trump and just being like, fuck Trump. And yeah, I just really dig them and love them. Next up, I think I saw someone on Instagram post a copy of this. I'm like, oh my god, I really need to try to find this. And one of the local record stores in Portland, 2nd Avenue Records, posted that they got like a whole bunch of dead stock from some guy that I think worked at Sub Pop, and he had like a whole bunch of copies of these. But this is the Freewheelin' Mark Arm. This is original 1990 US press, and he does a cover of Masters of War by Bob Dylan and his own song My Life with Rickets. For those of you who aren't familiar, Mark Arm is the singer and frontman from iconic Seattle bands Green River and Mudhoney. And yeah, I've been dying to try and get this, and it even has the original Sub Pop singles mailer still attached, when it only costs like a full year for the Sub Pop singles was only $35 back in the day. I think now it's like almost $150. But yeah, that's really cool to have. But yeah, really excited to have a copy of this, and it came on this cool sort of like marbled light blue green 45. And last but not least is Alien Boy by the Wipers. This is originally came out in 1980, but this is a 2019 record store day press. I think this was limited to like 2,000 copies. Great punk rock band. They were very influential to a lot of the Pacific Northwest bands, because the Wipers were a Portland band, and they were kind of like considered the first punk rock band in the Pacific Northwest, and they just rock. A-side has Alien Boy, and the B-side has Image of a Man, Telepathic Love, and Voices in the Rain. So, very excited to have a copy of that. Okay, next up, we have long plays. We got A Whole Nother Thang by Fuzzy Haskins. This originally came out in 1976. This is a 2021 U.S. press. Fuzzy Haskins was originally a part of Parliament and Funkadelic, and then, you know, he had some infighting with George Clinton, decided to kind of go off and do his own thing, and he saw how successful Bootsy Collins' solo career was. I believe this was the only solo album he did. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong. Bootsy Collins plays on this. I would say it's more kind of leaning to like funky disco rather than like the psych rock funk that you're kind of more familiar with when you think of Funkadelic and Parliament. But I still really dig this album. This is a really great underlooked album, the whole funk soul records. But I think this particular version was only limited to 400 copies. It came on this really great fluorescent tangerine record, so that was a really cool find. And you might know this album because it has the song Cookie Jar on it, which I believe Prince did a cover of. So next up, a hardcore classic. This is This Side Up by Scream. This originally came out in 1985, and this is a 2010 US press. They were a great rock, punk, a little hardcore in some songs, a band from the DC. Dave Grohl, fun fact, originally played with them. I think it was when he was on tour with Scream that Kurt Cobain saw him and was like, we need him for our band, and snatched him for Nirvana. But yeah, very, very glad to finally have this. Next up is this killer, beautiful copy of Show 'Em How by Pentagram. This originally came out in 2004, and this is a 2021 Finnish press. For those of you who don't know, Pentagram are great hard rock, doom metal, stoner rock bands. There's a great documentary called Last Days Here about the front man Bobby Liebling, and like the crazy story about the early days of Pentagram in the 70s, and how his hardcore fans sort of got him clean after a 40-year drug addiction and got the band back together and got him recording again. It's just a really great story and one of my favorite rock documentaries. But this is a killer album. I've loved everything I've heard by Pentagram. Yeah, they've gotten me kind of more interested in metal again. I was a big metalhead, kind of like right before I got into punk. I was a big metal fan, more like classic metal, like Judas Priest, Motorhead, Black Sabbath, Pentagram. But yeah, I kind of want to get back into metal again. I kind of miss it, so this has gotten me a little bit more excited about it. And this one came on a beautiful black and purple splatter vinyl. I think this was limited to 400 copies too. So yeah, really excited to have that. Taking a very, very big left turn from that to Therump Roller by Lee Morgan. This originally came out in 1966, and this is a 2020 US press. And I've described this as obviously jazz, but I would say kind of leaning more towards hard bop. I have found, as I'm discovering jazz, I'm kind of finding that hard bop tends to be the genre in jazz that I kind of really sort of like the most. And I know that Lee Morgan is just one of the most important musicians in jazz, and he kind of has a crazy story too. There's also a great documentary on him on Netflix. But this also features Joe Henderson, Ryan Matthews, Victor Strolls, and Billy Higgins. And yeah, finally, very excited to have some Lee Morgan in the collection. Next up, another classic punk band that I just didn't have in my collection until now. This is The Clash, their self-titled debut. Originally came out in 1977, 2013 US press. Great rock, punk, just one of the most influential bands in punk. But this has Janie Jones, White Riot, which is one of my favorite Clash songs, Denny, London's Burning, Career Opportunities, Police and Thieves. Just one of the greatest ever. Can't believe I didn't have them in my collection until now. Next up, some records I found in an antique store. This is Coast to Coast, Overture, and Beginners. This is a live album by Rod Stewart / The Faces. This is original 1973 US press, pop, rock, blues. You guys know how much I love Rod Stewart. I collect anything from him. Ooh, burped. Last but not least, in this big haul, I know this video is going to be so long, I'm so sorry, there's just so much stuff to show, but this is Live and Well by B.B. King, original 1969 US press. This is kind of when he was doing his electric blues. Yeah, great gatefold. Don't have any B.B. King in my blues collection, so decided to get something from the King himself. Alright, I'm so sorry this video is so long. I tried to shorten it as much as I could. But again, thank you so much for watching and hearing me jab about the things I've got in the last 2 weeks. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!